Welcome to 2 cents Short of a Dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz. I'm Rue, back in the building. And today I want to talk about the Matrix. And that's not Vasil Lomachenko. That's my man Jaron Ennis out of Philly, who just did the damn thing to Romain Villa over the weekend. So, Mo, did you catch the fight? I'm pretty sure you did because Virgil and Stanionis was off. So we were both able to catch the Boots fight. So tell me what you think about it.
I wouldn't say I'm too surprised by the initial outcome, though I did have Boots winning. I thought it was going to go decision. You had Boots stopping via, I believe, what round? You were close.
I don't remember. I meant to go watch the video to remember what round I said, but
You were
I
close.
feel like I said a late stoppage.
You said a late stoppage. You might have actually got the round right. I don't know. We might have to go back and check. But I would say I'm not surprised by the outcome per se, but Boots, his performance, excellent performance.
Yeah.
His timing, footwork, defense, his punch combination, excellent. You know what I was most impressed by during his performance? It was his punch output.
Yeah.
From start to finish, his punch output was tremendously high. And you know, with the fight with Rashidi Ellis started so well, and his punch output was really high, but he was on a back foot all night until he got stalked down and Villa finished him. You know, not stopped him, but he got the 2 knockdowns. Yeah. So I would say it was a good performance from Boots, and I'll let you take it away before we go and dissect the whole totality of the fight. But I would definitely say Villa's a warrior, though. Villa definitely took a lot of punishment.
Very impressive by Boots. Romain Villa, like you said, is a warrior, is a very tough guy. He has excellent defense with his face. You know what I'm saying? So he takes a lot of hits. But yeah, like you said, Boots, his punch output, his punch placement. Now, I knew Boots had these things in the arsenal, but to me, this might be his most impressive performance because I do think the competition's respectable after the fight with Villa and Rashidi Ellis. But like I said, just the way he did it, the punch output, the movement, the switching, giving him different looks. You know what I'm saying? And these aren't things that Boots hasn't done in the past. I just thought it was just like on another level Saturday night. So very, very impressive. And yep, he got the stoppage. And I know we were like texting through it, and then we were talking about it, but the stoppage was impressive. Villa took a lot of punishment.
Yeah, he's tough, man. To be honest, you can argue that they should have probably stopped the fight earlier.
His corner, his corner or the ref, you think should have stopped it?
His corner.
Okay.
His corner, but you know, sometimes they have so much faith in their fighters, you know, because Villa has a huge knockout ratio, right? Like coming into this fight, he stopped nearly all his opponents except for 2. So they probably was like he could probably get a good hit. And I remember his coach telling him, like, hey, you got to move your head. You know what I tell you, you got to move your head and you got to come on. Otherwise, we're going to have to slow things down. But then even the medic came like, hey, you got to pick it up. Otherwise, we're going to have to stop the fight. Yeah. So he took a lot of punishment, but it's just a testament of how tough of a fighter he is. Right.
Yeah.
But Boots, I think, just going back to what you were saying, we've seen these skill sets that he's shown before, right? We've seen the skill sets that he has, but I think it was a culmination of all those skill sets in one fight, and it was just like you said, on another level.
Yeah.
And did you see the video where? Oh no, I think I sent it to you where he kind of went slow motion, hit him, and then kind of uppercut at the same time and weaved it. That was crazy.
Bro. Like watching it back is even crazier, but like I saw that real time. It didn't look as slow.
It didn't look at that. Yeah, it didn't look
as slow, but it did look like he was stunting on him real time. You know what I'm saying? But when you watch the video back, it's like, wow.
Like, yeah. It might be the frames per second, but it definitely looked in real time, like based on an actual iPhone. It looked even more impressive.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show Boots is just on another tier, levels above his comp, and he shows that time and time again. And it was a good, I would say, bounce back performance. Yeah, he beat Karen his last fight, clearly, but he kind of struggled with a fighter that moved around a lot. He didn't look his best, right? And and I like Bozy, right? His father's a coach because his father had a great game plan. Like, yo, attack the body, stick to the body. One of the skill sets that you felt like Boots needed to use in order to win, especially with the stationary target. He was very successful. So I would say I want to ask you, where would you kind of rank Boots now after this performance? Do you believe he can bang with the likes of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? Do you feel like he's on that level, or do you think that he's just a level below them?
I would rank Boots maybe half a level below, not even a full level below. I do still have them ranked a little bit ahead of him, and I think the experience is the major difference because, for example, when he fought the last guy from the Ukraine who moved around a lot, right? You know,
Okay.
he still had to learn to cut the ring off. I knew this would be a much better performance because the opponent was going to be there to be hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If he was smart, well, not if he was smart. I don't want to disrespect them, but for matchmaking purposes, he should fight Stanionis next because you know it's a great name. Step up in competition, but Stanionis is going to be in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So it could be another impressive bout for Boots. But I would rank him just a half level below because the skill set is there, right? It's undeniable. And sometimes when you're just that skilled, it can take you very, very far. But I do think where he's lacking against those other guys is the experience. I've heard guys say he's like a hybrid of Spence and Crawford, right? And even though I wouldn't go that far, there are some similarities there of both guys, right? The size of Spence, some of the body work, the switching of Crawford, the quick twitchy reflexes of you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just the talent is unbelievable, like unbelievable. So just because that talent alone, I would rank him a half step behind those guys. But like I said, experience means a lot in boxing and it shows. So like if I had to say where Boots is in the division, I would rank him number 3 with an asterisk.
Oh,
And I know people are not gonna like this one. I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat in the comments, but me, I just think a wild card in the welterweight division is Keith Thurman. Though I would favor Boots to beat Keith Thurman because he has
yeah.
that experience, and let's say he just has like a great performance one night. Let's say he turns back the clock one night. You know what I'm saying? It
Okay.
looks like one time with his ring IQ, he can make it a long night for anyone, right? So imagine if Boots can't cut off the ring on a Keith Thurman, right? And let's say Keith Thurman is counter punching, landing that leaping hook, it could be a tough fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though I would favor Boots, I'm just saying Thurman's experience, it makes him a wild card. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen like basketball or football or anything? You just see somebody just have that memorable performance. You're like, damn, that's how they used to do it. Like if you get something like that from Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying? Almost like what Pacquiao did to Thurman. I think Thurman can make it a tough fight for anybody on any given night. You know what I'm saying? But I would rank Boots third in the division right now. Where do you see him?
I definitely, I respect it for sure. I would definitely rank, and it's funny because I 100% agree. I would probably rank him behind Spence and Terrence Crawford only because of the experience. When we watch Spence and how he's dominated his opponents, the level of competition he's fought, I think that's undeniable. Yeah, Terrence Crawford's resume is lacking behind Errol Spence, but Terrence Crawford's resume is better than what Boots have right now. Boots is ready to fight either adversary, right? Either opponent. But what they have is experience, as you said. And experience plays a huge role in the outcome of a fight. We see it time and time again, right? It's the little things, right? It's like, when Terrence Crawford and Boots fight, Terrence Crawford fought so many different styles, he'll be able to kind of make adjustments in the ring, right? Boots standing up in the corner and waiting for the next round to start, he ain't going to be able to do that. He's going to have to sit down on the stool and he's going to have to, bite down and have that moment where if he gets hurt, what are you going to do? Right. So I think that experience is definitely going to play a role. It's the little things. And, I think the type of pressure immediately once you get in the ring with them is much different. That can also affect your stamina. There's a lot of different factors, right? Punching power, right? Errol Spence's size, Terrence Crawford's speed, right? So I think that also plays a role because Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, they're at the top of the division for a reason. So I would probably have him definitely ranked. I agree. I think he's definitely number 3, clear number 3. And going back to what you mentioned with Stanionis, I know he called out Stanionis, and Stanionis doesn't necessarily have an opponent next, and they're looking to make that fight happen. So hopefully we do see that. I do have Boots winning that fight as well, but I do think it's going to be tougher than, the Via fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely have him ranked number 3 for sure.
So let me ask you this. Let's say if he could get the Crawford fight and the Spence fight, who do you think he poses more trouble for out of the two of them?
I would say he'll pose more trouble to. I think he'll pose more trouble. Oh, that's a good one. Because styles make fights, right? I don't know. That's a tough one. I would say he'll pose more of an issue to Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
I think him and Terrence Crawford are more alike compared to him and Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence is one of those fighters that he has grit. He's going to walk Boots down like Via was, but he's a significantly better defensive fighter than Via, way better body puncher than Via, right? And his placement of punches is significantly better. His timing is better. Like nearly everything is better. And I think when Spence starts enforcing the body work on Boots is going to have trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because if you watch the Via fight, or most of the fighters that he fights, they usually are head hunting, right? They don't go to the body enough.
Yeah. Boots,
terrific fighter, great defense, but sometimes, like even in this fight, he wanted to stand and bang at times. And I think, sometimes fighters and their pride get in the way. And I think when he tries to do that to Spence, I think Spence is gonna make him pay. You know what I mean? I think just having that, Spence's output is just tremendous. I think that just gives anyone problems. Whereas with Terrence Crawford, he'll have room to breathe. They'll try to fill each other out. I think the only issue with Terrence Crawford is because Terrence Crawford throws punches from weird angles, and he don't really throw the same punches consistently. Like, so what I mean is, like, he'll throw like a 3, he'll throw like a 3-2, and he'll throw a 3-2 again. So he don't throw combinations like, so if you find a basic fighter and they're throwing a 1-2, naturally the next combination that's gonna come right after is probably a 3. So 1-2-3. So that's why you kind of expect you catch it. Whereas Terrence Crawford, he'll throw like a 1-2, 1-2, 2-1, like a weird combination. And he's wiry, right? So like he'll throw combinations from weird angles, like what he did with Sean Porter, which stunned Sean Porter a couple times, and he ended up dropping Sean Porter a few times. But I would definitely say Errol Spence will cause Boots the most issue, and Boots will have an easier time with Terrence Crawford.
Gotcha. If I had to pick out the two, I think I would lean towards Crawford as well. Then this is definitely not saying that Boots would beat Crawford, but I'm kind of with you where styles make fights. And I think Boots, just having the size advantage, he's a bigger guy. I saw some impressive work on the inside. I think he would have more success on the inside against Crawford than he would against Spence. They're both like super athletic guys, but I think I just don't know. Like you said, Spence's output, I think, can cause issues for just athleticism, because you may want to leap in, you may want to do something, but just that constant jab in your face is throwing you off. So right. I will go with Crawford as well. I agree with that assessment.
Yeah, for sure. But hopefully we get that happening, because I know, Spence Crawford is supposed to fight next, and then they have a rematch clause, right? So then after, let's say, the winner of that fight, they rematch again, then one person's obviously going to be moving up regardless, right? Or do they both move up? Do one stay? I know Errol Spence has been more vocal about moving up compared to Terrence Crawford. So if Terrence Crawford decides to stay, that can probably be a matchup between him and Boots later on. But then again, he is older. He may retire. Who knows what happens? But I would like to see a fight between him and one of those two fighters in the future, for sure.
True, true, true. I think they're both going to move up. So I think Boots is just going to really reign over the welterweight division without much opposition. The guy who I thought maybe he was on a collision course with seems to have too many health issues with Virgil
Yeah,
Ortiz. That's a story for another day, but impressive performance by Boots Ennis.
for sure. For sure. Yo, so viewers, let us know. How do you guys feel about where do you rank Boots Ennis in comparison to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence? Do you feel like he can upset them? Right? Do you think he's the better fighter, or do you agree with us? Would you rank him number 3 in the welterweight division?
Yeah, can't wait to hear what you guys got to say in the comments.